Carlo Bidone. I am the Executive Vice President, Director of Branch Development and Growth Officer at the firm. We're an independent broker-dealer and RIA based out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, servicing currently just under 400 financial advisors all over the country, the United States and Puerto Rico. My role and responsibility since I joined the firm 23 years ago was centered wholeheartedly on growth, all sides, advisors, relationships, just keeping the good energy going and emanating a story of private culture owned by former producers that understand the struggle that financial advisors have out in the field and maintaining an integrity that we've done in this incredibly M&A-driven market that's out there. We've remained, since the first day I got there, with the conversations I had with both Ron and Brian Kovack are still the same conversations, and I think that's one of the unique value propositions, that you do have a culture there that is established as private, and we are not selling the firm. Well, that's a great question. I think everybody does it a little bit differently. Organic growth driven by your existing advisors, by potential advisors, and helping your existing advisors add new associates to their branches is the way we try to really spearhead the organic growth component. Education never ends. I say the day you stop learning is the day you start dying. So any advisor that I talk to that is talking to me back when I was a stockbroker, those days are evolved to a different place. And so growth is obviously the name of the game. When we talk about succession planning and those conversations happen, it usually is driven, well, what's my book worth? It's always worth more when you've done the right thing, as far as the institution helping you grow organically with referrals from clients, not just knowing the patriarch of the relationship, but the kids and the grandkids, and kind of doing some business development and practice management solutions to help them find those things that it's always been there, but they never realize it's there. Every conversation is a little different. There's a foundation that you have conversations with advisors. Somebody based in Dubuque, Iowa, may be a little bit different than Portland, Maine, or Fort Lauderdale, Florida, or Laguna Beach, California. All those conversations seem to be a little bit different based on the demographics and the client base that they're servicing. If it's a high net worth type advisor or somebody who works cafeteria plans at companies, they all have a little bit of a different mindset as to how do we help them do the succession plan internally. We make a lot of introductions. We're doing 2 mini conferences, symposiums this year, which are technically geared towards that, making introductions that can have legs and go throughout the course of the next 3 to 5 years, have internal successions based on more of a Match.com. We like to say that, yeah, he may be 5 minutes away from you geographically, but culturally and your business models may be completely different. So it's our job as an organization to kind of pair the right culture with the right culture. And again, we are in diapers as it pertains to that. We're really at events like this to learn more about that. I've always said I wish we could get all these folks in one room at one time. So we're talking from the SEC level to the FINRA level to the states to all the different affiliations and SROs that are out there. There's a big, as the advisors tell me daily, there's a disconnect as to what they do every day in their offices with John and Mary Smith on Main Street as it pertains to Tallahassee or Dover or whatever the capital may be. But I think the regulatory, I speak with our CEO who served on FINRA's Board of Governors for 2 terms. It's ever evolving. The oversight possibly may be one regulator eventually. It may be in the next generation that happens, but I think the dialogue is out there, and meetings like this may have some advocacy to let that happen. I think it really needs to be centralized and not so much simplified, but written in primary colors. I personally like it. It's been really, really good for us as an organization that we're not part of that highest bidder market. We tend to earn relationships versus buy relationships. I know that there's times in an advisor's career when a liquidity event is important for them and they make a change based on that, and others do it because the frustration of dealing with a large company that's just acquiring relationships versus earning them and knowing all the moving parts to their practice has really served us well. I think I have a lot of peers out there that do very well as well, but we are really excited about the future and the transfer of wealth in the next 10 to 15 years. Our firm is young, but still 27 years is a long time. But in the breadth of the entire industry, we're still young, and we've really enjoyed being privately owned and not being wrapped up in the M&A space. When I was looking to make a change, when I made the change, I had career opportunities with 6 other firms that are no longer 6 other firms. They've all been gobbled up, and I had a very quick meeting just in passing at an event like this with Ron and Brian Kovack with a simple little table in an exhibit space, and we talked about future, and they didn't have any recruiter. Ron was doing all the recruiting back then as a former producer. I sat down with my father, and I told him about the opportunities that I had, and my old man, who's an Italian carpenter, Geppetto, he said, why don't you just take a chance on the smaller company? He and my mother didn't want me to leave town, obviously. And if it doesn't work there, all those other big companies will be there if it doesn't work out. And 23 years later, the story and the culture is still the same. Brian has done everything that his father, I would hear every day, lean on him and educate him in the ways of doing things a certain way. And character goes a long way in this business, further than most things.